Yeah, good afternoon, all of you. Only 76 people participate, logged in till now. Uh, Please inform your friends if anybody wants to join in this, so that we'll start the session now in another 2 minutes. Yeah, good afternoon. So today we are going to start the actual machine learning algorithms. Okay. So the theoretical concept is very essential before we go to the practicals. Okay, I'll give you the practical idea also. Okay, I'll also guide you to implement the algorithms also, not only explanation. I'll make you people to implement the algorithms also. So no worries. Shall we start? All of you are ready? Shall we start? Yeah, yesterday we have discussed introduction to machine learning. Okay. You can ask Girish sir to share the yesterday's session. The record is available. Okay. You can request Girish sir and you can take the yesterday's record. Okay. We have started introduction to machine learning yesterday. That is, what is machine learning? What is the definition? What are the terminologies that we are going to follow? Okay. Some examples. All these things we have seen yesterday. Okay. So today we are going to start linear regression, okay, which is a supervised machine learning technique. Okay, a supervised machine learning technique means it is an algorithm which make use of the data with both inputs as well as outputs. That is what we'll call as a supervised learning technique. And this linear regression is a supervised learning machine learning technique. Okay. Now let us see the definition. So linear regression is a model, okay, that establishes a linear relationship between the features and corresponding target. Okay, we already discussed what are the what do you mean by features, and what are the output, how the outputs are represented, and how the inputs are represented in yesterday data set, the sample data set we have seen. Okay, so this linear regression goal is to establish a linear relationship between the features and the corresponding target. Target is nothing but output. Okay, so what is the input for our machine learning system? You have to supply both inputs and outputs, or as in the definition, you have to supply features and target so that it will evaluate the model. It will evaluate the model. So the general linear relationship is represented like this. What is it? Y is equal to ax plus b. What is actually this equation represents? Anybody? Acknowledge through chat. What kind of equation it is? What it represents actually in coordinate geometry? Very good. A straight line. Yes, it is a straight line equation. Very good. So I want to establish such kind of relationship. That means I should be able to, very good. Of course, it is a straight line. Okay. I want to give a relationship, which is as you said, a straight line relationship, okay, between different features and the target. Y is equal to ax plus b. Let us see what are the terminologies that this linear regression is going to follow. The equation where x is equal to feature and y is your target, and a is termed to be slope and b is termed to be intercept. Okay, this is how we represent a linear relationship between the features and the target. Okay, so let us see what is the major uses of regression analysis. The first one is determining the strength of the predictors. That means if you want to predict any future data based on the historical data, historical in the sense with the data what you have at present, you are going to predict the future data. Okay, so for that we use this regression analysis. The same, the machine learning algorithm, all machine learning algorithm will do the same, but it will increases that strength of prediction. Okay, the second application is predicting the house prices. Okay, predicting the house prices. For example, if you purchase the house 2 years back, you will be able to predict that price after 2 years. Okay, similarly, forecasting effect, as we already discussed yesterday. Okay, like predicting the temperature, predicting the humidity, predicting the pressure in the weather, like that. And another example is stock prediction. Okay, share markets, right? If you purchase any share, okay, today if you want to purchase a share, you should be able to predict what is the share value after 1 month or after 2 months. You should be able to predict that. Okay, if you find that share is profitable, then you purchase today. Otherwise, you won't purchase based on the prediction. Am I right? So next, let us see. Let us take the data set, okay, that contains only one feature, that is square feet and the price. That means here I want to take a sample data set. Okay. Okay. So any doubts? Giri Madhav, I think you raised the hand. Okay. 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 So let us take a data set that represents different houses data set. Okay. That means in that data set, I want to take the input as square feet and output as the price. Okay. Okay, I want to take only one input, that is what? SFT, that is square feet, and only the output, that is price. Let us represent the data set here. The data set will be represented like this. Okay. In the left side column, we can find all the SQFT values. And in the right side, you can find the corresponding prices. Okay. Now I want to plot these values on a graph. Okay. On a two-dimensional graph like this. Okay. Where the y-axis represents your price and x-axis represents your SFT. Now what a particular point will represent is one of the houses in the data set. Okay, each and every blue point over here will represent a particular house in your data set. Okay, this graph is obtained by taking this price in y-axis and SFT in x-axis. Now I want this is the previous data set. These are the different houses that you have plotted here by taking price on y-axis and SFT on x-axis. Now I have a new house. Okay, I have a new house and I want to predict the price of my new house. Okay, so generally if you purchase any house, for example, if you want to sell that house after 2 years, but you don't have any idea for how much price you have to sell your house, then what you will do? You will take the reference of nearby houses. Am I right? You will take the reference of nearby houses, and you will see those prices. According to those prices, you will sell your house. Okay. For example, if there is no such SFT in the data set, for example, okay, for example, your house SFT is 1350 SFT, your house dimensions, okay, but the 1350 is not there in the data set which we already plotted earlier. So what it will do is, for example, your new SFT is in between this blue spot and this blue spot, okay. So now what you will do is, I'll calculate the average of all the houses in that range and I'll predict the price for my house. Okay, I will calculate the average of all the houses in my SFT range. And I'll calculate the average cost and I will sell my house. That is the scenario. So now if I want to fit a straight line between the houses what I have plotted, okay, the straight line will be like this. Okay, so this straight, that means here I am trying to, as you said, I am trying to draw a straight line. I'm trying to draw a straight line with the data points what I have plotted just now, such that that straight line will be nearer to the as many points as it can. అంటే ఇక్కడ నేను ఒక లీనియర్ రిలేషన్షిప్ బిల్డ్ చేద్దాం అనుకుంటున్నాను, అంటే లైన్ డ్రా చేయడం ద్వారా. ఆ లైన్ కూడా ఎలా డ్రా చేస్తాం అంటే ఎక్కువ డేటా పాయింట్స్ దానికి దగ్గర ఉండేలాగా డ్రా చేయడానికి. ఓకే, ట్రై చేస్తాం. ఇప్పుడు మీకు స్క్రీన్ మీద కనిపిస్తున్న స్ట్రైట్ లైన్ వన్ ఆఫ్ ద స్ట్రైట్ లైన్ దట్ ఐ హావ్ ట్రైయింగ్ టు ఫిట్. ఓకే, that straight line is represented like this. As you said, f of x equal to ax plus b. Here w represents the weight vector. Weights is nothing but the slope and intercept values of your straight line. But if you say I don't have I may not draw only a single line like this, right? Is there any possibility, anybody please answer my question, is there any possibility, okay, of drawing more than one straight line? Acknowledge through chat. Is there a possibility of drawing more than one straight line? Yes, yes, there is a possibility. We cannot stick to a, yes, very good, we cannot stick to a particular straight line. So I can draw many straight lines. As one of your friends said, based on different parameters of w. As your friend said, based on different values of what? Based on different values of slope and intercepts, I can draw many lines. Now the question is, which line is correct? Now the question is, which line is correct? At the end of the finalization, your model should consist of only one straight line. Okay, you have to select a particular straight line between all the straight lines what you have just drawn here. Okay, our in this linear regression is selecting a line which is very close to all the remaining data points. That is our aim. Okay, yes, very good, best fitted line. Okay, now let us proceed further, have to identify such best fit line. Okay. For that, what you have to know is, first of all, we have to understand what is cost of a line, cost of a given line. Okay. Cost of a given line will be illustrated with the residual sum of squares. Okay. Residual sum of squares. Okay. For example, what do you mean by residual? First of all, let us leave about sum of squares. First of all, let us understand the word called what do you mean by residual. Okay, residual is nothing but the distance between the ideal line and the line what you are thinking it is a best fit. Okay, for example, here if I'm thinking that this line is the ideal line, but there are two more lines. Okay, there are two more lines. I'm thinking it one of the lines are the best fit. Okay, then what I have to do is I will try to merge the remaining two lines with the ideal line. Okay, before merge, there is a distance between the ideal line and the remaining two lines. Am I correct? So this is the distance, and this is some distance is there between the ideal lines and the best and the remaining line. That distance we'll call it as a residual. That distance is called as a residual. Do you know what you mean by ideal line? How can we draw an ideal line means? Okay, first of all, let us identify what you mean by ideal line. Ideal line is nothing but if you draw a line, by considering x as the actual output and y as the predicted output, where this actual output and predicted output are same. If you draw such a line between the same predicted and actual outputs, then that line is called as a ideal line. Okay, now let us define what is a residual based on this ideal line. The remaining lines which you are thinking if they are best fitted lines, then the distance between that ideal lines, okay, that ideal lines and the remaining lines is called as a residual. So that residual sum of squares will be calculated like this. Okay, this is the equation. Let me explain this equation. Here $house1 minus A into SQFT house 1 plus B. Okay, I think it is possible for me to draw annotations, right? Okay, right, fine. Okay, so here $house1 is nothing but the actual cost of house 1, and this A into SQFT house 1 plus B is the predicted cost, okay, of your house 1. Now I will take the square of the house 1, actual price of the house 1 and the predicted house 1 difference. Okay, $house1, dollar represents the actual costs. Okay, this is the actual cost of house 1, and this is the actual cost of house 2, and this is the actual cost of house 3, so on up to house n. And this A into SQFT house 1 plus B is the predicted cost of your house 1. But there is no guarantee that you will straight away get the actual cost, right? Okay, so what I will do is I will calculate the error. What is the error? The difference between the actual cost and the predicted cost. Sometimes you may get negative value. That is why what I am doing is I am taking the square of it. Why? Because even though if you got any negative error, the square will make it positive. Okay, so I will calculate those sum of squares for each and every house, and that will be repeated that will be repeated for every line over here. Okay. Now what I'll do is, by repeating for every line, finally I will identify the weights, that is A dash comma B dash. Okay, that is A dash and B dash, and the respective function, that is FW dash, is equal to A dash x plus B dash. I have to find that function. Okay, how I can find that function? If you are successful in minimizing this residual sum of squares. Okay, if you are successful in minimizing this residual sum of square, finally it will stick to some A dash and B dash. You may ask, sir, how to optimize the residual sum of squares? By randomly changing the value of A and B. Okay, so మనం ఏం చేస్తామంటే ఇనీషియల్గా మీ మోడల్ ఏం చేస్తుందంటే ఇనీషియల్గా కొంత ఏ వాల్యూ కొంత బి వాల్యూతో స్టార్ట్ అవుద్ది, కొంత ఏ వాల్యూ కొంత బి వాల్యూతో స్టార్ట్ అయ్యి ఈ ఆర్ఎస్ఎస్ క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేస్తుంది. ఆర్ఎస్ఎస్ క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేసినప్పుడు దానికి ఒక వాల్యూ వస్తుంది. తర్వాత ఏం చేస్తుంది అంటే ఇంకొక ఏ అండ్ బి తీసుకుంటుంది, మళ్ళీ ఆర్ఎస్ఎస్ క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేస్తుంది. అలాగా ఎన్నిసార్లు తీసుకుంటుందంటే ఆ ఏ అండ్ బి, ఈ ఆర్ఎస్ఎస్ ఎప్పుడైతే మినిమం అవుతుందో, ఐఎమ్ నాట్ సేయింగ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ జీరో, ఐఎమ్ నాట్ సేయింగ్ ఆర్ఎస్ఎస్ బికమ్ జీరో. ఓకే, the model will try to minimize this RSS by continuously changing the values of A and B. When it finds that your RSS is minimum, then it will finalizes that corresponding A and B values as A dash and B dash, which will be useful for the future prediction. See, in the previous optimization process, I have selected A dash and B dash as my coefficients. Then with that coefficients, what I'll do is, I will do the price prediction for my new house. The price prediction for my new house. Is it clear? Any doubts? Is it clear? Please respond through chat box. If you have any doubts, please ask me. I'll explain. Anybody? Any doubts? Yeah, very good question. Sir, but at starting, what values of A and B we will take? Okay, here selection of initial A and B values is up to your model. So the model will select, okay, the model will select the values of A and B. That is its job, not your job. Your job is to just to create the model. That's it. I'll explain in the program. Your job is to just creating the model. Your model initially will select some random values of A and B. Okay, some random values of A and B. Then it will start calculating RSS. If RSS is very high value, then what it will do is, again it will randomly select some other A and B. In the second iteration, again it will calculate RSS. Still it is giving the more value. Again it will randomly select A and B. This A and B value selection is at random by your model, and this random selection of A and B will be repeated until your RSS will reach us to a minimum value. Okay, when it reaches to the minimum value, okay, then it will select the A dash and the B dash. Here also you may get a question that, sir, how the model will identify the minimum value of RSS? Yes? Yeah, I'll tell you in the program. Creating the model, I'll tell you in the program. Yeah, very good. How it will know when to stop? Okay, how it will know that is the minimum value, right? So, okay, for example, RSS is reached to, let me show you in the paint so that yeah, I'll show you in the paint. Okay, so initially your RSS, okay, A and B, that is our aim, selection of A and B such that it will be useful for your future prediction. So your model will start with initially some random A and B, and it will calculate RSS. Let us draw a two-dimensional graph like this. This is Y and this is X. Let us say that your Y-axis represents RSS, residual sum of squares. Later, this RSS terminology will change in the future coming slides. Okay. Okay. For example, your model has selected some A and B value. Calculates RSS. Initially, that RSS value is here. Okay. So it is very high value, right? If you consider y direction. After that, what it will do is it will select some other values of A and B, and again it will calculate RSS, and it should observe whether the next RSS is less than previous RSS. Okay, so newer model will still tries to reduce this value. Okay, again it will select some other A and B, again it will observe the third RSS is less than second RSS. This process is repeated until it reaches to the minimum. But if your model doesn't think it is a minimum and the model don't want to stop, again it will still tries to change the value of A and B to make your RSS is 0. Then what happens is there is a possibility of increasing of RSS like this. Okay, what happened initially, you have started here and you'll try to reduce the value, okay, in this direction, okay, and you have reached it to the minimum here, and still you repeat the process, then there is a chance of increasing of RSS. So this is what we'll call it as, this arrow represent underfit. Okay, this arrow represent what? Underfit, and this arrow represents overfit. So you are unnecessarily training your model more, which is not required, right? If you reach to the minimum, stop there. Okay, so your model will try to identify that minimum RSS, okay, by selecting the A and B. If it reaches to the minimum RSS, then it will finalize that A and B, which will be useful for your future predictions. Am I clear? Am I clear, all of you? Any doubts? Any doubts? Okay, shall I proceed further? Shall I proceed further? Okay. So if you have any doubts, just stop me and you can clear your doubt, no problem. So based on this, as you people asked so many questions, sir, how the model will know that it is a minimum, and how will the model will stop at minimum? All these questions will be answered from this slide very clearly. Please pay attention. First, you should understand this diagram, okay, how your model is going to be represented. This is your model. So initially the training set is going to your learning algorithm, okay. That algorithm will select some hypothesis, okay. Then it will take your size of house and it will estimate the price. And this hypothesis finalization will be done based on your RSS minimization. Your RSS minimization. That RSS is further is also called as a cost function. To understand this cost function, let us represent your equation or hypothesis in theta, in the theta form like this. Okay, h theta of x is equal to theta 0 plus theta 1x. Okay, the above equation represents univariate linear regression. What do you mean by univariate linear regression? Your regression contains only one feature, just like SFT, square feet. Okay, to represent only one feature, this univariate linear regression equation has been used. Okay, where A is equal to theta 1 and B is equal to theta 0. From this slide onwards, please assume A as theta 1 and B as theta 0. Okay, any doubts in this slide? Please ask me. Any doubts in this slide? Just we are trying to understand more about the linear regression. That's it. We have more intuition about this linear regression. Okay, by taking this theta notation. Okay, if that is the h theta of x is equal to theta 0 plus theta 1 x is our hypothesis function, let us see some graphs. Okay, for example, if you select your hypothesis function as like this, that is 1.5 plus 0 into x, that means where theta 0 is equal to 1.5 and theta 1 is equal to 0, your graph will look like this. Am I correct or not? The first graph is clear. Why? Because when you take x is equal to 0, y becomes 1.5. Am I right? If you take x is equal to 2, it is 1.5. X is equal to 3, it is 1.5. So it is a line passing through your y-axis. Okay, let us take another hypothesis function. H of x is equal to 0 plus 0.5 into x. 0 plus 0.5 into x. If this is the case, if I take x is equal to 1, y is equal to 0.5. Okay, it will be represented like this. Or let me copy this and illustrate in the paint so that you'll clearly understand. Okay, so for x is equal to 1, the y value is 1.5. For x is equal to 2, y value is 1.5. For x is equal to 3, the y value is 1.5. If you take x is equal to 1 here, y is equal to 0.5, x is equal to 2, y is equal to 1, and x is equal to 3, the y value is 1.5. And this is another hypothesis equation. Like this, we can draw different lines by changing the values of theta 0 and theta 1. As you said, as you people only said, there is a possibility of drawing so many straight lines by continuously changing the values of a and b. Here, because instead of a and b, here I am calling them as theta 0 and theta 1. Okay, is this clear? Up to this is clear? Any doubts about this slide? Is this clear? Okay. Now, let us see how to identify the ideal line or the best fit line. How to identify the best fit line? Okay. For example, if you take h theta of x is equal to theta 0 plus theta 1, okay. The cost function is defined as like this. Okay, the cost function is represented as j theta 0 theta 1 is equal to 1 by 2m, that is sigma I is equal to 1 to m of h theta of x of I minus y of I whole square. Okay, here you may get a doubt that what is this h theta of x of I? Here I is running from 1 to m. Here m represents number of samples in your training data. Okay, number of samples in your training data, that is represented by m. Okay. Okay. And h theta of x represents the predicted output by taking the xi input. అంటే నేను xi లో ఒక వాల్యూ ఉందనుకుందాం, అంటే xi అనేది ఒక ఇన్పుట్, ith ఇన్పుట్ అనుకుందాం. ఆ ith ఇన్పుట్ ని యూజ్ చేసి నేను ax ప్లస్ బి క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేస్తే నాకు హెచ్ థీటా ఆఫ్ ఎక్స్ వచ్చింది అనుకుందాం. దాన్ని నేను ప్రెడిక్టెడ్ వాల్యూ అని అంటాను. ఈ yi అనేది యాక్చువల్ వాల్యూ అంటాను. సో ఈ ప్రెడిక్టెడ్ వాల్యూ మైనస్ యాక్చువల్ వాల్యూ హోల్ స్క్వేర్, అండ్ దిస్ హోల్ రిప్రజెంట్స్ యువర్ కాస్ట్ ఫంక్షన్. ఓకే, సో ఇక్కడ నేను ax ప్లస్ బి బదులు theta 0 ప్లస్ theta 1x యూజ్ చేస్తున్నాను. ఓకే, నౌ our goal is to minimize this j theta 0 theta 1. You understand our goal? Yes, you understand? Please acknowledge through chat. Yeah, Harshita Pondari, what is your doubt? Okay, so our aim is to minimize this j theta 0 theta 1. Okay, let us see how to minimize this theta 0 theta 1. Okay, for our convenience, let us take theta 0 is equal to 0. Okay, I want to make in this equation, if you observe here, okay, in this equation I want to make this theta 0 is equal to 0. Okay, I think I am assuming that there is no intercept for my line. Okay, okay, theta 0 equal to 0. Now I will calculate the cost function like this. Without eliminating theta 0, I am calculating the cost function. Then it will become j of theta 1 only. Why? Because you made theta 0 equal to 0. So j of theta 1 is equal to this cost function. Okay. Now what I will do is, first I will take theta 1 as 1. All of you please observe here. I will take theta 1 is equal to 1. Then what is your straight line? Your straight line will be like this, the black line. The black line will represent the line that has been drawn with the help of theta 1 is equal to 1. Okay, later if you change that theta 1 is equal to 0.5, okay, it will represent blue line. If theta 1 is equal to 0, it represents the green line. Okay, it is clear. Let us think, please pay attention. Let us think here, the black line is our ideal line. The black line is your ideal line. If you observe here, this point represents what? Okay, okay, let me copy this graph into MS Paint. Okay, here let us assume that this black line has the ideal line. Why? Because here this point represents, what point? Which point it will represent? 1, 1, right? It represents what? 1, 1, and this point represents 2, 2, and this point represents what? 3, 3. 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3 means what? Your actual output and predicted output are same. Your actual output and the predicted output are same. I already told you, the line that has been drawn between same actual and predicted output will be considered as a ideal line. Am I right? So assume this black line is your ideal line, but we are not in the position of identifying this ideal line. Our aim is to find the closest line to this ideal line. Ante kada? Here our aim is what? Identifying a straight line which is closest to our ideal line by reducing this distance. So theta 1 is equal to 1 అని తీసుకున్నాను కాబట్టి నాకు ఈ బ్లాక్ లైన్ వచ్చింది. అదే theta 1 is equal to 0.5 తీసుకుంటే నాకు ఈ బ్లూ లైన్ వస్తుంది. అంతే కదా? అంటే యాక్చువల్ అవుట్పుట్ 1, 2, 3లే, కానీ ప్రెడిక్టెడ్ అవుట్పుట్లు మారిపోతాయి. అంటే పాయింట్ ఇక్కడ 0.5 వస్తుంది, ఇక్కడ 1 వస్తుంది, ఇక్కడ 1.5 వస్తుంది. Are you clear? Okay, are you clear or not, all of you? If I take theta 1 is equal to 0.5, I'll get a point 0.5 comma 1. Okay, and 1 comma 2 and 1.5 comma 3. These are the points I will get. Am I right? So here, this 1, 2, 3 are the actual outputs. These y coordinates, y1, y2, and y3 are the actual outputs. And the 0.5, 1, and 1.5 are the predicted outputs. So though, if you draw the lines with these 3 points, okay, what happens? A blue line will come here. Again, if you take theta 1 equal to 0, irrespective of the theta 1 is equal to 0, it will shows all zeros to your zeros as your predicted outputs. So now how to select the closest line to our ideal line means not only plotting the values like this for your theta 1 and h theta of x, but also you have to draw a graph for the cost function also like this. Okay, ఒకవేళ ఒకసారి చూడండి, ఒకవేళ ఇక్కడ నేను 1 తీసుకున్నాను అనుకోండి, theta 1 1 తీసుకున్నాను అనుకోండి, నా j theta 1 ఏమవుతుంది అంటే 0 అవుతుంది. ఒకవేళ నేను theta 1 0.5 తీసుకున్నాను అనుకోండి, నా j theta 1 some other value అవుతుంది. I'll show you the calculation also. Yeah, here once observe the calculation here. For example, if you take j of theta 1 as 1, if you take theta 1 as 1, okay, your j theta 1 becomes 0 by calculating this, by performing these operations. Okay, if you take theta 1 is equal to 1, means what? Here you will get an expansion that 1 minus 1 whole square plus 2 minus 2 whole square plus 3 minus 3 whole square. So it will leads to j of 1 as 0. So plot a point here. Next, what I'll do is I'll take theta 1 as a 0.5 here. Now you substitute here, then the predict output 0.5 minus 1 plus the second predict output 1 and the third output predicted output is 1.5. But the first actual output is 1, second actual output is 2, and third actual output is 3. Now calculate the j theta 1 again. So here m is, let us suppose 3. There are only 3 samples are there. Assume that m is equal to 3. So now calculate the sum of the squares here. Like this, you will get 3.5 divided by 6, whose value is 0.58. So your 0.58 will be something here. If you continue that process, what happens is, your j theta 1 will increases like this. Okay, just now I have represented the same curve in the MS Paint. Am I right? You people asked me, sir, when it will stop or when it will select that it is a minimum. So can anybody tell me which theta 1 value is closest? Which theta 1 value is closest to my ideal line? Please acknowledge through chat. Which theta 1 value is closest to my ideal line? Which theta 1 value? 1. After that, 1 is the ideal. The theta 1 is equal to 1 represents ideal line. But I am asking the theta 1 value which can be best fit for you. Which theta 1 value is the best fit for you? 0.5. Am I right? 0.5. So 0.5. So it will finalize as theta 1 as 0.5. Why? Because this 0.5 only closest to your 1. Okay, closest to your ideal line, it has been drawn with theta 1 is equal to 1. So it will stop at 0.5. It will stop at 0.5. Okay, is it clear, all of you? Any doubts? Any doubts? Please acknowledge through chat. Is it clear? Is it clear? Please, what happens if and only if j 0.5 is equal to j 1.5? J 0.5 equal to j 1.5. So it is saying that, okay, it is, see, it will start with some value, right? Some theta 1 and theta, which theta we need to take? Actually, see, here this one means, I already told you that the cost functions, the cost function or your RSS will not be 0 for any model if you take. Error can't be 0 for any model if you take. So it will do some trial runs. Okay. So here it reaches to minimum as you said at 1.5. If it still performs, it goes to minimum value, and again it will start increasing here. Again it will start increasing here. As you said, from this value it is reaching to the minimum, and again it is trying to increase. But here, for the understanding purpose, I am representing this j theta 1 is representing 0 for 1, but that is not the case for any model. Okay, instead of 0, you assume that your model reaches to some minimized value. Okay, some minimized value. అందువల్ల 1.5 దగ్గర దానికి వచ్చిన వాల్యూ మళ్ళీ 0.5 దగ్గర దానికి వస్తుంది కాబట్టి అప్పుడు మోడల్ ఏమనుకుంటుందంటే, ఓకే నా మోడల్ ఓవర్ ఫిట్ అయిపోతుంది, సో నేను ఆప్టిమం దగ్గర ఆపియాలి అని అనుకుంటాం. ఓకే, సో అప్పుడు ఏం చేస్తుంది అంటే ఆప్టిమం దగ్గర దానికి θ1 వాల్యూ ఎంత ఉందో ఐడెంటిఫై చేసుకుంటుంది. ఐడెంటిఫై చేసుకుని ఆ θ1 ని ఫైనలైజ్ చేస్తుంది. ఒకవేళ ఇది కూడా సెలెక్ట్ చేయొచ్చు, ఎందుకంటే క్లోజ్ గా ఇక్కడ ఐడియల్ లైన్ అని అన్నాను కాబట్టి ఐడియల్ లైన్ కి ఈ θ1 వాల్యూ క్లోజ్ కాబట్టి ఇదైనా సెలెక్ట్ చేసుకుంటుంది. ఇక దాని మీదకి ఇంక వెళ్దాం, ఇటు కానీ దాని మీదకైతే వెళ్దాం. ఎక్కడంటే ఇక్కడ దాకా ఈ డైరెక్షన్ లో వచ్చేదంతా మనం అండర్ ఫిట్ అంటాం, ఈ డైరెక్షన్ లో మీదకి వెళ్ళేదంతా ఓవర్ ఫిట్ అని చెప్తాం. ఓకే, సో ఇట్ విల్ ఆల్వేస్ ట్రై టు సెలెక్ట్ ది కన్వర్జ్డ్ వాల్యూ ఫర్ యువర్ కాన్స్టెంట్స్. Okay, so this is how the cost function will be represented graphically. This is what we'll call it as a bow function. Okay, it is what we'll call it as a bow function. If you have one more feature, see, this is the bow function is represented as in the two-dimensional space. This is what? Two-dimensional space. Here only θ1 is plotted on x-axis and your j θ1 is plotted on the y-axis. If you plot all the values between j θ1 and θ1, it will be represented as a bow function like this. If you take one more feature, that is theta 0 like this, okay, then the function will look like this. This what do you call this depth will represent the minimized values of θ0 and θ1, minimized values of θ0 and θ1, such that your j θ0 θ1 is minimum over here at this point. Okay, let me give the same in the paint. Okay, here I'm trying to, here in the previous example the bow function represents the plot between, bow function represents the plot between θ0 and j θ0 θ1. Here I am representing the plot between, okay, θ0 θ1 as well as j θ0 θ1. Then it will be look like a three-dimensional space, right? So here this point, okay, all of you observe, this point is the optimized value for this j θ0 θ1. At this point, the θ1 and θ0 will be finalized for your model for the future predictions. Okay, you think how this function is going to represent if you take one more feature, then you'll go to four-dimensional space. Okay, so if you move on increasing the number of features, it will lead to some high-dimensional space. Okay, you understand, all of you? Any doubts? Any doubts? Please acknowledge through chat. This is the minimum optimized value for j theta 0 theta 1. At that position, the theta 1 and theta 0 will be finalized. Is it clear? All of you. Please acknowledge through chat. Okay. Now the same thing can be explained through contours also. It is something difficult to understand. As you said, we can draw so many straight lines by keep on changing the theta 0 and theta 1 values, right? So if you take this straight line by taking theta 1 as 0 and theta 0 as 360, your j theta 0 theta 1 will be located here. Okay, these are what we'll call it as a contours. These are what we'll call it as the contours. So if you take a straight line like this, for this straight line, your j theta 0 theta 1 will be located like here. And this for straight line, your j theta 0 theta 1 will be located here. If you observe this straight line, see your theta 0 and j theta 0 theta 1 function will be at the center of the contour. Why? Because the line what you can see here in the right, the left hand side, which will be very close to the all the data points in the graph. Here I can say that this line is more converged than these two. If you find this line is more converged, then the contour will represent its center at j theta 0 theta 1 function. Okay, that is cost function in terms of contours. Okay. Now let us see what is this gradient descent. Actually, this gradient descent is the algorithm. Okay, gradient descent is an algorithm which represents a process that how your cost function is going to be minimized. How your cost function is going to be minimized. For example, here this theta 0 and theta 1 are the features that we have taken, and j theta 0 theta 1 is your cost function. So initially your j theta 0 theta 1 is at this point. If you observe these red crests, okay, red crests, okay, these are the maximum values that has been reached by j theta 0 theta 1. Okay, then what we have to do is we have to select as steepest descent as possible. We can reach to this theta 0 and theta 1, optimize theta 0 theta 1. Okay, here if you see, initially I'll start at this point and gradually I'll take my j theta 0 theta 1 like this, and I'll reach it to the minimized j theta 0 theta 1. Okay, at that location I'll finalize my theta 0 and theta 1. Okay, so this is one type of steep that I can select. We have another steep, okay, like this. This is also leading your theta 0 j theta 0 theta 1 cost, the cost function minimized. Okay, so can anybody tell me which path I should select? Please acknowledge in chat. We have two paths here. Okay, this is also path that will leads to selecting optimized j theta 0 theta 1. This is also select the optimized j theta 0 theta 1. Can anybody tell me which path I should consider in order to finalize my theta 0 and theta 1? Second one. Why? Why? Reason? Can anybody tell me why I have to select second one? Very good, very good. This is the more steepest when compared to this. Any model will try to finalize theta 0 and theta 1 as soon as possible, right? That is why it will try to minimize that cost function as fast as possible in such a way that it will select the path which is more steepest, which leads to your cost function minimum. At that point, it will identify the theta 0 and theta 1. Okay. So now this gradient descent selects this theta 0 and theta 1 as some of the student have asked me that, sir, how does A and B has been selected? So your model will select A and B initially. Here theta 0 and theta 1. Theta 0 and some random theta 0, theta 1 will be selected initially. Then what happens is it will perform this convergence. This will perform the convergence after calculating the cost function for each theta. For each theta, that is for j equal to 1 as well as j equal to 0. Okay. After that, what it will do is it will perform the simultaneous update. Okay, like this: theta 0 minus alpha into dou by dou theta of j theta 0 theta 1. Again, temp 1 is equal to theta 1 minus alpha dou by dou theta 1 of j into j of theta 0 theta 1. Okay, here you may get a doubt that, sir, what is alpha? Alpha means how fast it is, or you can say that which steepest path it is selecting. If it selects this, your steepest is slow. If it is selects, the steepest is very high. Okay, so the steepest will represent your learning rate. Here the learning rate is slow, here the learning rate is fast. So this alpha is depends on the steepest path you are selecting. Okay, that is what we'll call it as a learning rate. That is what we'll call it as a learning rate. Okay, so we have to perform the simultaneous update like this. This is the correct method. This is the correct method, but this is the wrong method. Can anybody tell me why? Here, if you update the temp 0 and immediately update the theta 0 value, for temp 1, the updated theta 0 will be substituted here. But that is not the case for us, right? I have to calculate the old, I have to take the old theta 0 and theta 1, and I have to calculate corresponding temp 0 and temp 1. And according to that, the theta 0 and theta 1 will be updated. And this theta 0 and theta 1, after updation of this theta 0 and theta 1, again j of theta 0 theta 1 is calculated, and this process is repeated until your j theta 0 theta 1 has been minimized. Okay, now understood how these constants are finalized? Please acknowledge through chat. Please acknowledge through chat how these constants are finalized. Any doubts, students? Please acknowledge. Please acknowledge. Any doubts? Otherwise, I'll proceed further. Shall I proceed further? Yes, nobody is responding. Okay, is this clear? Is this clear? Okay, I hope you got the answer. So now let us, why it is selecting only linear equation? Why not we fit a quadratic function for our data set? Okay, if you try to fit a quadratic function, your quadratic function may have crests and troughs. That means they will increase and again they will decrease. Okay, that can be possible by taking another feature, square of another feature, and only unit degree of one feature, and like this. But if you keep on doing this, your resultant graph will look like this. Am I correct or not? Your resultant graph will look like this. Do you believe this graph is accurate for predicting the house prices? Yes? Absolutely not. Why? Because, can anybody tell me what is the reason? if I keep on doing this, my training error becomes 0, and this is what it is, a overfit model. Okay, if I want to sell my new house, I don't believe this is the price will be finalized for my new house. Okay, ఎందుకంటే నాకన్నా తక్కువ ఉన్న ఎస్ఎఫ్టీలే ఎక్కువ కాస్ట్లు ఉన్నాయి. అలాంటప్పుడు నా ఎస్ఎఫ్టీ ఇక్కడ ఉంది. It is representing what? This orange button is my predicted cost. So I don't believe this fit. Will you agree with me? Will you agree with me? Yes or no? Please acknowledge through chat. Yes, this is what a forward fit model. Okay. So now let us come to the implementation part. How it is, how to implement this linear regression. So initially I have so many houses data in my training data set. Okay. Let us remove some houses. Let us simulate the predictions. To simulate the prediction, what I'll do is, my total data set will be divided into training and testing sets. Training and testing sets. That is possible by removing some houses. After that, what I'll do is, I'll fit my model on the remaining houses, and then I will predict the held out houses. All of you, please remember this slide, which is very important for in the implementation part. ఏం చేస్తామంటే, ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ నా డేటా సెట్లో ఒక 100 హౌస్లు ఉన్నాయనుకోండి, అందులోంచి కొన్ని హౌసెస్ నేను రిమూవ్ చేసేస్తాను. అంటే 20 హౌస్లు నేను రిమూవ్ చేసేసి మిగతా 80 హౌస్ల మీద నా మోడల్ని ట్రైన్ చేస్తాను. మిగతా 80 హౌస్ల మీద నా మోడల్ని ట్రైన్ చేసిన తర్వాత మిగతా 20 హౌసెస్ని యూజ్ చేసి ప్రెడిక్షన్ టెస్ట్ చేస్తాను. ఓకే, దట్ ఈస్ వాట్ విల్ కాల్డ్ యాజ్ ద టెస్టింగ్ సెట్. So the overfit, when you make this training error become 0, then I can say that your model is overfit. But whenever you design a model, your aim is to optimize this testing error. Testing error means what? For example, if I have 20 houses, if I predict only 10 houses, then my accuracy is 50%. Then what is your aim? Your aim is to increase that accuracy to 50% to 70%, 80%, even for 90%. That is possible only when you try to reduce this testing error. Okay. So now let us compare the errors, testing error as well as training error. At last, once show the slides, we can take the screenshots. Okay. Let us take the graphs of this testing error as well as training error. When you increase model if you keep on increase model complexity, your training error becomes minimized. Even it reaches to 0 also. But the testing error minimized with some model complexity increment, later it may increase. Why? Because for the overfit models, the testing error is more. Okay, for the overfit models, the training error is minimum or 0, but the testing error is more. If I cannot say that if your model is giving training error as 0, it is a best fit model. I cannot recommend that model. Why? Because it is not only enough to reduce your training error. Your aim is to reduce this testing error. Okay, so model complexity increase అవుతున్నంత సేపు మీ ట్రైనింగ్ ఎర్రర్ తగ్గిపోద్ది. మీకు చూపించాలంటే ఇన్ దట్ ప్రీవియస్ స్లైడ్ లో this is one of the example of overfit model. Here training error becomes 0, but if you test for your new house, it won't give the appropriate price. So what is the meaning of that? Testing error is very high in this model. Okay, you understand, all of you? Yes or no? Please acknowledge through. Okay, so you may ask, sir, how to improve this testing error then? For that, we have two techniques, ridge regression and lasso regression. I'll give a brief introduction about this ridge regression and lasso regression. These two regression techniques will comes under regularization of regressions. Regularization అంటే ఏం లేదు, మీ మోడల్ కోఎఫిషియెంట్స్ ఉంటాయి కదా, అదే θ0 అండ్ θ1, ఆ θ0 అండ్ θ1ని లెస్ వాల్యూస్కి రెడ్యూస్ చేయడమే. ఒకవేళ మీరు ఆ θ0 అండ్ θ1ని తక్కువ వాల్యూస్కి రెడ్యూస్ చేస్తే కనుక దాన్ని మనం రిడ్జ్ రెగ్రెషన్ అని అంటాం. ఓకే, దట్ ఈస్ వాట్ విల్ కాల్ ఇట్ యాజ్ అ రిడ్జ్ రెగ్రెషన్. దట్ ఈస్ వాట్ వన్ ఆఫ్ ద రెగ్యులరైజేషన్ టెక్నిక్. ఇంకోటి ఏంటంటే లాసో రిగ్రెషన్. లాసో రిగ్రెషన్ అంటే ఏకంగా ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ మన డేటా సెట్లో ఒక 11 ఫీచర్స్ ఉన్నాయనుకోండి. ఈ లాసో రిగ్రెషన్ ఏం చేస్తుందంటే ఏ ఫీచర్స్తో అయితే పని ఉండదో ఆ ఫీచర్స్ని కంప్లీట్గా ఎలిమినేట్ చేసేస్తుంది. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ నా డేటా సెట్లో ఇఫ్ మై డేటా సెట్ కంటైన్స్ 11 features, but all those 11 features may not be useful for me. Okay, only some of the features are useful for me. So lasso regression will identify such features which are not useful for your model. In that case, the coefficients for such kind of features will become zero in lasso regression. Will becomes zero about that lasso regression. It's very it is somewhat if we have time we will implement these two regressions also, but at fundamental level you don't require this. These are the different techniques of regularization. Yeah, ridge regression is nothing but it will try to minimize, okay, it will try to minimize the coefficients. It will try to minimize the coefficients such a way that it leads to minimized training error and minimized testing error. ఓకే, అంటే రిడ్జ్ రిగ్రెషన్ ఏం చేస్తుందంటే ఆ రిడ్జ్ రిగ్రెషన్ మీ మోడల్ కోఎఫిషియెంట్స్ ఉన్నాయి కదా, అదే θ0 θ1ని కంట్రోల్ చేస్తుంది. ఎలా కంట్రోల్ చేస్తుంది అంటే ట్రైనింగ్ ఎర్రర్ పూర్తిగా జీరో అయిపోదు, అలాగే టెస్టింగ్ ఎర్రర్ కూడా మంచి మినిమైజ్ టెస్టింగ్ ఎర్రర్కి తీసుకెళ్తుంది. ఆ విధంగా మోడల్ కోఎఫిషియెంట్ని సెలెక్ట్ చేస్తుంది. అది రిడ్జ్ రిగ్రెషన్. యు అండర్స్టాండ్ Chandrasekhar? Okay, it selects the coefficients in such a way that it won't leads your training error becomes zero, and also it will leads to minimized testing error such a way that it will select the coefficients. That is ridge regression. Lasso regression will make the coefficients of the features which are not required as zero. Okay, now let us see some let us create a sample model. Let us create a sample linear regression model. All of you please open your Anaconda 2 Jupyter notebook. Give me 1 minute time. Is all of you ready? of you ready? Please acknowledge through chat. Opened your Jupyter notebook? Okay. Okay. Create a new notebook. I want to change the title of this notebook. Click on this. I want to change the title. Regression example 1. I want to give today's date. Before writing the code, I request all of you, please open your MS Office, Excel specifically. All of you open Excel. All of you open Excel and create a file like this. INPT1, INPT2 and OPT. INPT1 is nothing but input 1 and INPT2 is nothing but input 2 and OPT is output. This is addition of two numbers data set. This is a data set that illustrates addition of two numbers. If you observe here, 1 plus 2, 3, 2, 5, 7, 3, 5, 8, 4, 8, 12. Like that, please create a file like this, create some samples, some sample examples. And name it as input underscore data dot CSV file. Create some random examples and save it as a comma separated value file. I'll give you 3 minutes of time. Please do it. Here you should know how to create your own data set also. That's why I'm giving this exercise. Okay. You should know how to create your own data set. This data set illustrates only just addition of two numbers. That's it. Please create some random examples. As many as you can. Please save it as a comma separated value file, CSV file. Okay. That means it should have an extension .csv. While saving, I'll show you. In save as, okay, here save as type. Don't forget to select the save as type as CSV. Okay, and give the name as input underscore data. And remember the location where you are saving that file. Okay, save as type దగ్గర CSV పెట్టండి. File name input underscore data అని ఇవ్వండి. మీకు బాగా తెలిసిన లొకేషన్లో సేవ్ చేసుకోండి. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ నేను డైరెక్ట్గా అప్ డ్రైవ్లో సేవ్ చేసేస్తున్నాను దీన్ని. ఓకే, okay, done. Those who have completed, please acknowledge as done. Okay, I got only one done. What about the others? Make it fast. All of you have saved as .csv file. Come on, remaining. Okay. Now, shall we start writing program? Shall we start writing the program? Okay. Now open Jupyter Notebook again. First, I want to do it markdown. Importing packages related to linear regression. Press Shift Enter. Students, please, I will demo as we have very less time. I'll demonstrate with the scikit-learn package. On Monday, we use GraphLab and implement linear regression. Okay. Today, we use scikit-learn package to illustrate linear regression. On Monday, we use GraphLab to implement linear regression. You may ask, sir, what is the difference between scikit-learn and GraphLab? Using GraphLab, we can do more analytics. We can do in-depth analytics when compared to scikit-learn. Okay, that's why for doing with GraphLab, we don't have enough time now. That's why I'll illustrate with the help of scikit-learn. Okay, students, is it okay for you? Tomorrow and day after tomorrow, rest for you. There is no session. Okay, take rest and practice the examples what we have learned so far. If you have any doubts, please call me or mail me. No problem. Again, I'll give my contact number. This is my contact number. You can call me to clarify your doubts. Okay, shall we start? Okay. Okay, okay. We'll start. Start typing from sklearn dot linear underscore model import linear regression. From sklearn dot linear underscore model import linear regression. From sklearn dot model underscore selection import train underscore test underscore split. Then press Shift Enter. After typing two packages, press Shift Enter. Okay, leave it, no problem. Then what I have to do is, okay, only okay, import only linear regression. Then another markdown. Loading data sets. For that, what you have to do is, you have to use pandas here. df is equal to again. I will type, all of you want see, loading data sets. For that, you have to import pandas as PD. df is equal to pd dot read underscore csv. I have saved in F drive. That's why in my location, I'm opening my file, input underscore data dot csv. Okay. Now, another markdown, creating the model. That is, model is equal to linear regression. Press shift enter. Okay, we have created the model. Now what I want to do is, I want to inspect the data. Inspect the data in data set. For that, what I'll do is, I'll use this df.head command. Okay. If you use df.head command, it will look like this. 1, 2, 3, 2, 5, 7, 3, 5, Z8, and 4, 8 is 12, like that. Okay. All of you clear up to this? All of you clear after this? Okay. Now, identify inputs and outputs. So for that, what I'll do is, I'll declare x is equal to df dot drop off opt comma axis is equal to 1 dot values. So what is the meaning of this? Accessing inputs. Okay. For output, I'll take small y, that is df of opt dot values. Clear, all of you? Here what I have done is, this command says that drop opt and take remaining all inputs as input features. Okay, I am dropping this opt and taking the remaining two as my features. Okay, so inpt1 and inpt2 will be the inputs for your model or features of your model, and this is accessing target or output. Next, what you have to do is, access parameter means I want to drop OPT which is in axis 1. See, all these are all in the same default axis called 1 only. But in that features which are in axis 1, out of the features in the axis 1, I want to drop only OPT. Then what happens? Remaining columns will be the input features for my model. Okay, is it clear? File name. Your file name will have .csv extension, right? Your file name with .csv extension. Okay. And now train the model. For that, what I'll do is I'll write model.fit of x comma y. Okay, your input contains some not a number values. So for that, what I'll do is I'll write df dot drop na. Okay. Again, I want to perform this. We are getting difficulties in the Anaconda too. Okay, no problem. Okay. Okay, for today, I request all of you to please open Google CO Lab. Why? Because there are some functions deprecated in the there are functions that are deprecated in the Python too. Okay. Please upload your data set in the Google CO Lab. Okay. Let me increase the font from sklearn dot linear underscore model import linear regression and from sklearn dot model underscore selection import train underscore test underscore split. Okay, Python 3 is supporting these packages. Okay. Next, what you have to do is you have to load the data set, import pandas as PD. So df is equal to PD dot read underscore CSV. Here you can directly write input underscore data dot CSV and you can check the data. Okay, this is the data we have. Now I want to create the input and output. X is equal to df dot drop off OPT comma x is equal to 1 dot values and small y is equal to df of OPT dot values. Yes, all of you are following? All of you are following? Please acknowledge through chat. Okay. Okay. Now I want to create model linear regression and I want to divide my data as a training set and testing set. Okay, that is train underscore test underscore split of x comma y test underscore size is equal to 0.2 and random underscore state is equal to 0. So here what I have done is I have created training set and testing set. Okay, using this train and test underscore split function. That means your whole data set will be divided into training set as well as testing set. Okay, now what I'll do is I'll train my model using only training data set. Okay, that is model dot fit of x underscore train comma y underscore train. Okay, your model has been successfully trained, all of you. Have you seen that? Okay, what I have done is I have imported the packages which are necessary for my model creation, and then I have loaded the data set and I have inspected my data, and then what I have done is I have inspected the data. After that I have accessed inputs and outputs. Input I have kept in X, capital X, and output I have kept in small y. And then I have created my linear regression model. After that, what I have done is I have divided my whole data set as training set and testing set. On the training set, I have performed training of the model. Okay. Now, if you want, you can check for the accuracy of your model using model.score by passing x underscore test comma y underscore test. So accuracy of your model is 99%. All of you clear? All of you clear? Yes. Now what I'll do is I'll predict the new examples. Okay. Here what I'll do is I will print model dot predict of my new examples 2, 3. Now I want to find the result. What happens if I add 2 and 3? It prints 5.03934. This is what predicted output of my model. What is the input here? 2, 3 I have passed. Okay, 2, 3 I have passed, and it is predicted as 5.039448. Is it clear, all of you? All of you hope all of you are doing in Google CIVO lab. Yes. All of you clear? So now I want to see visually. Import matplotlib.pyplot as plt. I want to give actual outputs as extra predicted outputs, and pld dot y label actual outputs. So now what I'll do is plt dot plot of y underscore test comma y underscore test, and I want to perform scatter for y underscore test comma model dot predict of x underscore test, and I want to check my graph. So this is how your graph is going to generate. Okay, this is the ideal line, and my model accuracy, how much it is? 99%. That is why your testing examples exactly converged with the ideal line. Okay, or else here I'll give scatter color as red. Then you can see the red points are the predicted values and the blue line represents the actual outputs. So they have absolutely merged with the ideal line, because your model accuracy is how much? 99%. That is why it shows like that. You understand? Any doubts? Now, is it audible? The Davadeep Reddy, is my voice is audible now? My voice is audible now, Devadeep Reddy? Okay. So this is about the linear regression. On Monday, we will work on GraphLab. Okay. And don't go out of the session. We have an exam now. I'll give you the link. Yeah, you have to store it in the location, appropriate location, and you have to give that path. Once check whether you have uploaded properly or not. All of you, please click on this. All of you click on that link and write the exam. Okay. I'll show you the exercise here. See, like this, you have to get the uploaded file look like this. Should look like this. Module matplotlib. Matplotlib.pyplot. Matplotlib.pyplot. Once observe how I have imported the package. Import matplotlib.pyplot as PLT. I think you have mentioned only matplotlib. You forgot to give .pyplot. Okay. All of you start writing the exam. Showing same as like you zip the file. Then how you have opened the file once you check? Like this only? I think you have given your path, I think. You can simply give directly the file name. Now you run. Same path, but in different drive. Where you are executing? Venkat Sai? In Google Colab or? Okay. Will it done like this only?